we'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity for Passions. Ben's not here because he's just an unbelievable husband and celebrating his wife's birthday. And so I'm going to go ahead and take over now. I just want to make sure that this is very clear. Luke somehow brings, I don't know, some magic out in me. And so, Luke, did you realize that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you do. And so I don't know how to put it into words. So this podcast, we really give Luke the credit for. Thank you, Uncle Mark. You're welcome, Luke. You're welcome. And so I do have grandkids in the background. So this one is Voice of Integrity for Passions. And so Ben's normally here. The history of this one's interesting. It also came from another vacation. It's like, I got to do more vacations. I just do. Like, why are you laughing?
You need more vacations. That's right. You do.
That wasn't funny.
You have plenty of them.
And so, like, wow, people rain on my parade. Like, anyways, so
people start. Maybe I could what'd you say? X tenant or something? What was the thing you said?
I don't know.
In the last podcast, if you want to X something, make it more.
Accelerate it, accentuate it, multiply it, multiplier.
No, it's X10 or something. Anyways, maybe instead when somebody tells me, 10X, that's right. When somebody tells me it's not funny, that's when I might fall on the floor laughing.
Right. Right. I love control freaks. I'm not saying I've got any in my life, but it's Rosanna said she's not one.
So we know that's true.
Right? Oh, now she's saying, so behave yourself. So I'm going to say back to her, you be you. What is it? You be you. I got to get that word. You be you and I'll be me, or something like that. It's my new saying. And so, so Ben, we were on vacation and he got me to go ahead and get in the hot tub. I missed the hot tub last night. I was going to do it, with the sunset and stuff like that, but I didn't do it. So kind of disappointed about that. So there's so many things we could talk about. Anyways, we were on vacation. We had a hot tub. He loves the hot tub. And so we were in it, at night and stuff. And so he was talking about how he didn't feel he had passions. And that was really the thing that birthed this whole podcast. And so, he's a young guy. He's married. He's got a good job paying good money, has a house. Like he's 25 years old. He's achieved his goals in life. And that's a dangerous place to be to achieve your goals. Luke, what would you like to accomplish in the Voices of Integrity for Passions?
I guess find some goals that I can learn how to achieve or get to.
So I think goals, like there's a best-selling book of all times that says, without a vision, the people perish. So without a vision, the people perish. And so, have you seen The Beekeeper, Luke?
Yeah.
When you saw that, did it trigger things in you as much as it did in me?
Probably not.
And so there's people that are starting to call me the beekeeper.
Next time we're on my dad's.
There are people, it's interesting. There's somebody yesterday I was talking to, and he said he didn't want to talk to me. And I said, okay, I'm done. And he lasted 4 seconds. And then he talked to me again. I'm like, you just said you didn't want to talk. See, I'm irresistible. Like Dave Ron said, Mark, and a lot of younger females also. Luke went ahead and said, you're getting hit on more than I am. And that's probably, I'm not going to, anyways. Dave Ron said,
the wedding?
What's that?
When did Luke say that?
Which part?
You're getting hit on more than I am.
I don't know if it was Luke or Paul, or I think it was Luke at the dinner or something. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Luke, do you remember saying that?
Nope.
Okay. So it might have been Paul, and so anyways, this guy I was talking to yesterday said, you don't want to get into my conversations. You just don't. And it's like, but Dave Ron said, he's like, Mark, you're like candy at Christmas that my wife puts out. You're irresistible. Now, obviously, as a 60-year-old man, I would have preferred that being said, by a 20-year-old. But there's probably going to be 20 or 30-year-olds that are probably going to say that to me. I don't know why. It's the passion that I have. So here's something, Luke, that's really interesting. Like round and round, this podcast goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. And so somebody inserted themselves into my conversation just a few minutes ago. What that does is it gives me permission to have a podcast about this vacation. Interesting. So people that are often controlling, they can't control themselves. They have to. I start shaking. They say, I have to insert myself. I'm needy. I have to say something. I just have to, please, let me say something. Does that work for you? Well, obviously, I think it does. I think it does work for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Your face was turning white.
I know. It's the coolest thing in the world. Anyways, so for young men, that was there something shared? You guys can interrupt me at any time.
Yeah. Who just said what? Somebody spoke to you.
Daniel said my face was getting red.
Oh, Daniel. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was told by a young lady yesterday something about arguments. Like arguments are all bad. Do either of you remember saying that to Grandpa? And that's JoJo, right? So JoJo said to me, JoJo's 6. She's participating in the podcast. And she said, Grandpa, something about stop arguing. Now, I thought I was just kind of enjoying vacation. I thought I was just being me. Like, you be you, me be me. Don't be me. Like, so when somebody says, I'm just going to be me, you be you, I'll be me. When somebody says that, they have no idea what they're unleashing. Like, oh. I know. I'm being traumatic. And so it's so cool. It's so cool because Mikey's he's 1-ish, and he's been my best buddy. Man, that kid gets what he wants when he wants it. And so I think I'm going to start being him. Like when I want something, and that's just me being me. And I've been giving permission to be you, Mark. Why would you give me permission to be me? Like, what are you thinking? Anyways, and the 8 hours on the road. This is gonna be.
All right, we need to refocus on Luke because we want him to come back.
Right. Oh, very nice. So Luke, one of the things that's interesting is it brings back memories of probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, I was at Lifetime Fitness playing basketball. And I was walking into Lifetime Fitness and there was this very attractive young mother. And she was holding probably a 2-year-old boy. Like, she's walking him in and it's her son and he's jumping up and down and she's holding on to him for dear life. Ken, have you heard this story?
I don't think so.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying after yesterday that you'd use this story. I'm just saying that it's an interesting story. And so she's holding on because she doesn't want to lose him. Like she knows he can run out in front of the car. So she's holding on. He's jumping up and down, being like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old is. And then all of a sudden he just stops and he just leaps up and he's like, just like that. Like, and she's like, what, honey? And he's like, blue car. And she's like, oh my gracious, it is a blue car. And I'm like, I wonder if her husband excites her as much as her 2-year-old.
I think she gets it from you.
And I thought, how does a 2-year-old excite a grown woman, very attractive young woman, maybe more than her husband does? And then I realized women love men that are passionate. And what's interesting about women is it doesn't have to be something they're passionate about. They just love to see men that are passionate. Now, as you get older, it's good to be passionate about them and their children rather than selfish passions, because that doesn't do so good over time. She just kind of rolls her eyes and okay.
Yeah, everyone rolls their eyes around me.
And so Luke, that's like you're passionate about volleyball, and that will draw women to you. It'll actually draw men too, but most men are out of jealousy. Women are like, wow, this guy's passionate. You're passionate about accounting, and that's something that's wired inside of you, and it's totally okay. Like it's totally okay. And so it's the most intriguing things to see what people are passionate about. And, Ralph Miller, one of my mentors, he's like 20 years older than me. He sold his company when he was in his early 50s, never had to work a day again in his life. And he went ahead and he said, Mark, you have an unusual gift. And I'm like, okay, what's that? He said, you know how to take anybody's passions and turn it into money. And I said, well, yeah, but every business owner is like that. He's like, they're not, Mark. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, they're not. He also said something about miracles that's really interesting too. He said, Christians, he was a Christian. He said, let's not do that, Dan. He's like, Christians are looking for like healing. Are you healed yet, Luke?
Am I healed?
Yeah.
Sure.
No,
I was hoping you were going to say healed from what? Like
okay.
Your healing was so significant, you didn't even remember that you had any type of, health issues or whatever. Anyways, he said, oh, now it probably came back again. Like I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, my sickness. I thought you were talking like, am I saved, healed from my sin, or are my knees healed? Those are contrary answers.
Yeah, we can talk next week about that. Luke will be back because Ben, poor guy, You know, I mean, he does work in the factory, so that's, you know, repetitive hard work all the time. Like that's, you just have to do a lot. But he seems to be getting old faster than his dad. And so anyways, and so what? So Ralph said a miracle. He said, my definition of a miracle, Mark, is that there's a 16-year-old boy that's pretty much worthless at home. Parents can't get him to do anything. And he goes and works for McDonald's. And McDonald's turns him into a productive member of society. He said, that's my definition of a miracle. And it's like, you know, so it's cool, you know, it's cool where, so like every business owner that has employees or contractors, they're doing miracles. They're taking gifts and they're turning them into an economic engine that is productive. Like, you know, something else I realized on this vacation is that, you know, so my wife, she loves gardening. And I've got a couple sons-in-laws that love gardening too. Gardening's not my thing. And it's like, I don't know that I really ever thought of it much. But it's like, does that really work? And then I thought, well, that's what Adam did in the garden. So we saw the Ark. We went to Kentucky, saw the Ark. That was amazing. I'm gonna come back again. Probably just Roseanne and I'm guessing. I mean, I think I could spend 3 days just reading, like the information that they have there.
We also went to the Creation Museum.
We went to the Creation Museum too. Both of those were just, so we'll probably get a 3-day pass and just go there and, you know, the whole day and just go from one exhibit to another and read it. It's like, it was insane. A lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. Luke, anything else you'd like to accomplish?
Nope.
So what I would recommend, Luke, is, you know, do the passion circle. By the way, Luke, I don't know, did you read my email I sent to you this morning?
I skimmed through it. I didn't
Okay.
get up at 5:30, so.
Yeah, no worries. So I just wanted to, you know, tell you how much I appreciate you being, you know, a friend to me. Well, the only friend that I have, actually.
Okay. Thank you.
I know it's speechless. I do that to people sometimes.
How do you have only one friend?
Well, your mom said something very, very significant 15 years ago. What was it? Good question. We were at the platform, the train station in Naperville, and your dad, who was not married yet, he was there, and he was going back home to Michigan. And your mom said something that was very strange to me. I think it was Brenna, one of her friends growing up. She says, "Oh, she got engaged." But it's not it's not a real thing until you change your Facebook status. Like, and I'm like, you want to see that again? I'm like, what? And that's when the thought hit me. You know, that's when the thought hit me about technology and the power of technology. And I want to just thank 2 people in my life in technology, my son-in-law, Josh, and then my brother, Dan. Those 2 guys have done more to motivate and inspire me than probably 2 guys, I mean, they're just amazing. And so it was like, I realized the power of technology, and then I started looking around the platform. And I thought, how cool would it be for an app? There's people right here that could be great friends. But I don't know them and they don't know me. They're not going to come up and talk to me, and I'm not going to come up and talk to them. And so then there's a guy in Nashville. He's the first one of our clients, and I was going out to coffee with him. And he went ahead and he introduced me to the concept of top grading your friends. And so it was really cool. I'd never thought of, friendship. My brother Dan, he said, as you get older, your kids marry, you have grandkids, you have a lot of things. If any of you know Dan Boersma, I'd give you his email, but I don't have it right now. But for sure, if you know, you want to, like, he's given me a gift and I want to give it to you. And I want you to thank Dan. So maybe there'll be something in here. Email him and say, thank you, Dan, for the wonderful gift that you gave me through your brother Mark. He once said to me, I think he was mocking me. Sometimes I'm socially autistic. And I don't know when people are mocking me and when they're not. But once he said to me, so how many of the 8 billion people have you reached? I'm like, I don't know. But now that I put those two dots together, so he said, when you get older, you either have to get better at relationships, friendships, or you have to prune them. You have to get rid of some. And it wasn't until that was on one of the Boersma brother retreats. It's a call out to Vern and Dan, both of you. Ken and I, we're ready. We want another Boersma. And it's this time you can bring your sons or your grandsons, you can bring anybody you want. Like Dan, he once said, man, again, he's a gift that keeps giving. He once said at a family reunion, when one of my sisters, who will not be named, went ahead and said, like, she was kind of a little poosty, that's sassy and, whatever. She was not happy that actually Mr. Ladwig, and his family were invited. And so she was not happy. Somehow that got back. But again, is that really real? I don't know. I've never verified it, never fact checked it or anything. So I don't know. But you don't make this stuff up. I'm just saying, like anyways. And Dan said, we were sitting, I remember, I think it was cabin 3. We were sitting out there and Dan's like, my philosophy is the more people you have, the better. Because then you don't have to spend time with people you don't like. And I'm like, that Dan Boersma, he's a sharp one. He's a sharp one. Now, this is not why I like to have so many people at parties and everything else. And if you're at a party with me and I don't talk to you at all, don't take it personal. It's not meant to be. Anyways, so the friendship here. So up until Luke went ahead and, became my friend, I only had one other friend, and it was Bill Yoder. And he was a test friend. That's it. Just me and Bill. But Luke, and I don't want to share, Luke's personal information because I'm very sensitive about boundaries. And so, I am jealous of Luke because I'm like, how did he get a phone number? How did he get a phone number? I want a phone number like the one he had. It's like, well, I'll just tell you. It's 111 111 1111. I'm like, that, holy cow. Now, I'm like, man. So I just want to thank Luke for being my friend. He's the only one, because test friends don't count once you get real friends. And so Luke really made my day when I woke up and I saw that he joined my friend group. It's the only friend I've got. So the answer to that So again, Luke, I appreciate it. There's two really smart people in this group. I don't want to invite any of my other friends on it. And I'm sure you don't either, because the more people we get involved, there's not going to be as smart as the two of us. So, so this is an interesting, this is kind of an interesting journey here. And so, I've got to run here too, but just one closing thing. There's a, I don't know. I don't think I'm an average to below average person, honestly. I was told that when I was 8, never forgot it. But I'm not sure which guy told me. So, anyways, here's friendships. So Luke, what we're doing here is when somebody comes into the channel, we'll introduce them to the 4 levels of friendship and then let them choose, whatever it is. Ken will be really proud of me. I broke the Boersma cycle. Grandpa Boersma, he'd never let us win. Never let us win at games and never let us win. And then Uncle Jim, we went to his funeral and he never let his kids win or grandkids. It's funny because one of his kids said he never won at euchre, was it? One of the games, until right before he died. And she was so excited that she won, maybe not realizing he's like, I might let her win one game. Anyways, my grandkids, they are not so gracious. So they're like, Grandpa, we hate that you're winning all the games. I'm like, do you want me to let you win? And he went ahead and said, they said yes. So I let him win all the games. It was cool. We played war. Daniel, what was the game that we were playing? Sneak Uno. Do you remember Cheaters Uno?
Yeah.
You might have been too young. Like Daniel, it was so cool. Like this is one of the highlights of the vacation. He was playing Uno with Grandma. And he did Sneak Uno without telling her it was Sneak Uno. Not that she'd know what that was or anything like that. But he played Sneak Uno with Grandma.
Oh, they call it sneak instead of cheaters?
Yeah. It sounds better. It's more Christian because we're really
right. You're just sneaking it. You're not cheating. You're just sneaking. You're putting more cards than you're supposed to, but you're cheating.
So Daniel went ahead and did Sneak Uno with Grandma and didn't even tell her he was doing it. When she got him doing it, he went ahead and said, well, it's Sneak Uno. I'm like, ooh. So I played Sneak Uno with Daniel next, played one game, cured him of it. He doesn't ever want to play. Like, it was crazy. It was awesome. And then Trevor and all the girls were like high-fiving Grandpa and saying, Grandpa, that was so cool what you did to Daniel. But, he and he's growing up. He's 11 now. And man, we've got some memories. Unbelievable. He's becoming quite a young man.
I agree.
Maybe he can join us on this. You guys have anything else that you want to cover?
I don't have a computer or a phone.
I gotta go to anyways too. So
okay. So Luke,
good to have you on, Luke.
Big time. And I know you probably want to invite all your friends. I get it. And you can if you want to. If you don't have friends, I've got tons of them. Hi, Dad. And so I can give you some of my friends. So it was fun. Hopefully you had fun. It's more fun when Ben's here because then he's leading this one and kind of go off of there. You're listening to the rebroadcast. Ben, I hope I didn't mess up your podcast. If you're listening to the rebroadcast, you have any questions, feel free to connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the U.S. 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.